Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Our lesson for today is phrases. Remember, this is the first of a series of lessons on this topic. If you are new to the channel, do not forget to give a thumbs up by liking the content and to subscribe to the channel. Also remember to share the lesson with other WASSCE candidates. Questions on phrases appear in the WASSCE comprehension section together with clauses sometimes. It is a choice between clauses or phrases. Our objective for today's lesson is to identify and name a phrase. Whenever we talk of phrases, there are two things we need to take note of. The first being that phrases are groups of related words. And secondly, the related words in a phrase consists of a head word and all other modifiers. To better help us understand this, here is a sentence for us to consider. The extremely tall Indian man has left very quickly to the train station. We shall proceed to divide this sentence into groups of related words and to determine the head word for each group. Now we must also always remember that any word that lays emphasis on another word in a phrase is always considered as a modifier or a qualifier. It is not the head word. Now with that said, let us look at the groups of related words we obtained from the sentence. Our first group of related words, the extremely tall. This is made up of an article, an adverb, and an adjective. In this phrase, we must identify the head word. And the head word in this phrase is tall because it is the word emphasis is laid on. The other words, the extremely, are modifiers helping to lay emphasis on tall. Our second group of words is Indian man, made up of an adjective and a noun. The head word in this phrase is man because it is the word emphasis is laid on. The other word, Indian, is only a qualifier or a modifier helping to lay emphasis on man. Our third group of related words, has left, made up of an auxiliary verb and a main verb. Now the head word for this phrase or the head word in this phrase is left because it is the main verb and the word emphasis is laid on. The other verb, has, is an auxiliary verb or a helping verb as we commonly say. Our fourth group of related words, very quickly. These two words are both adverbs. Now the head word in this phrase is quickly because it is the word emphasis is laid on. The other adverb, very, is a qualifier or a modifier helping to lay emphasis on quickly. And lastly, our fifth group of related words, to the train station. In this phrase, the head word is rather the word to, which is a preposition, but we shall have more on that later. It is very important to identify the head word of any phrase because phrases are named after their head words. In other words, head words in phrases are important for the simple fact that we use them to name the phrases. Let us further examine this from the table. As you can see, there is an added column that features types of phrases. Now, our first group of related words we identified was the extremely tall. We identified tall to be the head word of that phrase. Now, the part of speech of tall is an adjective. Therefore, we have for ourselves an adjectival phrase. Our second group of related words was Indian man. And man is the head word in this phrase. The part of speech of man is a noun, giving us a noun phrase. Our third group of related words has left, with left being the head word of the phrase. Now the part of speech of left is a verb. Therefore, we have a verb phrase. Very quickly happens to be the next group of related words. In this phrase, the word quickly is the head word. The part of speech of quickly is an adverb. Thus, we have an adverbial phrase. Now, our last group of related words we identified: to the train station. In this phrase, however, the preposition to is our head word. If so, then we have for ourselves a prepositional phrase. Well, before we continue, we should always remember that phrases are groups of related words, and that the related words in a phrase always consists of a head word and all other modifiers. And also, we must not forget that words in a phrase which lay emphasis on another word are modifiers or qualifiers. They are not the head words. Now, here is a little exercise. Read the given text, take out the underlined phrases, identify their head words, and name them accordingly. If you took the time to do the exercise, you should have something like this. Our first phrase is a dethroned chief. The head word in this phrase is chief. The part of speech of chief is a noun. Therefore, we have a noun phrase. Our second phrase is must have broken. The head word of the phrase is broken. Broken is a verb. Therefore, we have verb phrase. Our third phrase is a serious crime. The head word of this phrase is crime. The part of speech of crime is a noun. Therefore, we have a noun phrase. The fourth phrase is to the stool. The head word of this phrase is to, and the part of speech of to is a preposition. Therefore, we have a prepositional phrase. And now the last phrase is his regal powers. The head word of this phrase is powers. Powers is a noun. Therefore, it is a noun phrase. It is great to have followed the lesson this far. But before we end, here are some important facts about phrases you must know. Firstly, as already discussed, phrases are groups of related words. Secondly, we must also remember they are called phrases because they have no finite verb, meaning within a phrase, there is no appropriate verb that indicates that an action is being done. And lastly, phrases perform a particular function. The subsequent lessons provide in-depth explanation on the functions of the different kinds of phrases. Make sure to click on the next lesson in the description to check this out. See you in the next video.